And the fact that they're now starting to share the lead.
There's good energy there. I see that Petter Eliasson's up there as well. Beautiful skating technique he has. But there he is, 13. Cologna's lucky, I think, in the fact that he's got this really energized group and he's just on survival in there. Sprinkling of Italians in there as well. Good to see Di Centa up in 9th place. He's amazing.
What a season for Di Centa, 13th in the World Cup rankings. If you go all the way back to 1995, Giorgio Di Centa finished 80th in the World Cup. His best ever was in 2008, actually, when he finished in 5th position. This is the race for 2nd and 3rd at the moment, and they do get the occasional glimpse of the yellow vest up front. And as they complete the final climb on the 4th loop.
Make it look easy, doesn't he? Croc with that lovely smooth technique, but I think he's losing a couple of seconds from our last split time where it was 24.9. And then when the body's so fatigued, we take this right-hander and really pick up some big speeds up to 55, 60 kilometers an hour, and you really have to hesitate around this sharp bend. Northug again getting advice, getting all the information on how close his teammates are closing the gap or not.
Just about 10 kilometers completed, another 5,000 meters to go, and that's the last 5,000 meters of the season. Only one faller so far. That was Villigjanin, who put himself out of contention with these two. It's a shame. It would have been nice to see the Russian mix it up with these two in the final stages of the race. But that one little stumble, it cost him some 30 meters. He tried to make it back, Mike, but maybe didn't have quite enough patience.
Well, he did. He tried the adrenaline. I think that Villigjanin was so disappointed to make that error, that critical error, when he could have possibly stuck with the momentum of the chase pack. Well, it always feels that they're closing time, but this is where Northug is so efficient on these descents, the cornering, and the flats.
4 laps of 3.6 kilometers to make up the distance today. And Northug still looking pretty fresh. Maybe the technique not quite as crisp as it was in the early stages of this race, but he's got one more lap to go. 10.8 kilometers completed, and it's still looking very, very comfortable for him, and he can enjoy it from now on, Mike. I guess he said, I'll just keep my margin and then play with it on the last lap, see what I have to do. And the two chasers in almost exactly the same position.
Look how Northug reads the track as well. Most of the rest are skiing in the middle of the track. Northug knows full well that it's just marginally faster there where it's been less skied on, because you've still got the little corrugated pressing of the track machine there, and there's less friction under the ski. He reads everything. The rest will be in the middle of this track. His track craft is amazing. He just feels it, senses it.
Sometimes I feel, I know the sensation is that you're going a lot quicker, and I'm sure Northug's done plenty of tests to find out that it is quicker, but it's a bit like running at night. You think you're going flat out. In fact, it's only the fact that you can't see anything that you have that sensation of speed.
It's a good feeling. The boys, the Chase Sumbi and Kroch, last time around it was what, 34? It's 26 this time, and I don't think they're going to close the gap to Northug.
Well, what a race we've got for the minor positions today. As far as I can see, Villigjanin has been overtaken. He's got bib number 2 in the middle of that group now. Good for him to hang on in there, but I think he's going to find it very, very tough on this final lap. Number 14, Giorgio Di Centa. Maybe he fancies a bit of the action up the front. I think the best they can hope for now is 4th place from this group, Mike. But that's still fairly lucrative.
It is. There's still a decent payday. 4th place is 9,625 Swiss francs, and 5th place is 6,875.
Only the top 10 getting prizes. feels slightly elitist. Interesting to see that Kowalczyk has made far more money, almost doubled the money that Petter Northug has won this year. What's happened to equality?
You've got to be at the races to win them, because of course, remember, she went to Canmore, to Canada and Quebec.
Absolutely, she's had a long season.
And you know, she just takes as many races as she can tolerate. And that's why well, maybe that's why now today she's just totally burnt at the end, or the sore throat, or whatever her problem was earlier today.
There has to be a limit somewhere. Northug has timed his season well. Okay, the World Championships didn't go quite as he would have wanted. $80 points clear at the start of today. He really set himself up for this overall victory, Mike, with his win in Stockholm.
That was so important to Northug, and to just double pole for the 4 times around that 1.3 kilometre track, he was energised. And of course the win in Drammen as well. When Northug and, when Colonia and Ledkov weren't really making it into the top bracket at all. What an amazing athlete he is, isn't he? I love his unique style there in the skate 1 technique. It's
a sharp action, isn't it? It's a dynamic action we see from Northug. Sundby is the man who flows and goes back ahead of Krok again. Krok digging deep, but the fact that he's in a lower gear may be suggesting that he's starting to reach the end of his tether today. And this chasing group, the last time we got a split on the chasing group, they were almost 1 minute and 6 seconds behind the second and third position. So Eliasson, Goldberg, Colonia, Ledkov, Decenta, Chernozov, Villigjanin are really too far behind to hope for a podium finish. This man just has to stay on his feet, but look how much closer Sundby is getting. There is going to be a race on our hands. Last time they came through, 26 seconds was the margin. It's been as low as 24, but remember, Northug is one of the best descenders in the business. I think it could be down to 15 seconds, and we could see a major charge from Sundby, but Sundby wouldn't stand a chance if it came to a sprint down the last 150 metres.
And Sundby must realise that. I don't think there's a whole lot of love lost between Sundby and Northug. Sundby said he was absolutely not going to support any work in the 50 kilometre in Oslo. He said he'll be on his own.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. If you're going to ski 50 kilometres, you want to ski 50 kilometres for yourself. Krok playing quite a canny game, isn't he? 15.4 behind at the moment. And remember that Krok started 54 seconds off the lead, so he's made good ground. But I can just see it coming. They'll get within 5 or 6 metres of Northug on the home straight, and then Northug will decide after all that winning the mini tour for the 3rd time is something that he wants to achieve.
Pretty good, isn't it? At the end of the season, when everyone's stretched to their limits mentally and physically.
Okay, what's going to happen in this group? We've got half of Norway, half of Russia, and Sweden tucked in the middle.
And a few
with, of course, the Italians at the back.
A couple of Italians sprinkled in there. The Italians won't take the work on, that's for sure, early on.
Okay, if this comes to a sprint, where would your money be?
I was thinking maybe Chernozov ahead of, well, Colonia, if he's got any spark left. But
yeah, Chernozov's wearing 11. You just had a quick glimpse of him there. You don't fancy Peter Eliasson of Norway?
No,
13?
I don't think so.
What about Giorgio Decenta? I know he's closer to his 50th birthday than his 30th, but maybe he can pull something out of the bag.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Giorgio get up there and take that 4th place.
Eliasson, Villigjanin, Goldberg, Ledkov, all men who played a part in what has been a tremendous cross-country season. The last big climb now for Petter Northug, and then he can think about how he's going to celebrate. The gap between himself and the 2 chasers still stands at 13.5 seconds. Sundby and Krok are getting closer, metre by metre, but they're running out of time. Less than 2 kilometres to go for the season. Sundby looks still very focused. He's beautifully poised on the skis, but I think he realises he's in a battle with his teammate for 2nd and 3rd place, not with a chance of taking the win.
Oh, Northug looks so close. I know the camera does foreshorten it up this climb, and Northug in his mind will be thinking, as long as I'm comfortable, not just here at the top of this one, but on the right-hander, then he's safe.
Well, he's not going to have the opportunity to sign any autographs on the way up the finishing straight this year. He'd love to have had time for that, but I don't think it's going to turn out that way. Here comes Sumbi once again, just prepared to do the work. Kroc, who's a tall man, is getting shorter and shorter as the limbs don't want to straighten anymore. There might be a little case of fatigue in the muscles.
It's on sections like this where Northug keeps working. I noticed that Sumbi backed off just into this straight, and then Northug carries more speed around the bend, therefore more speeds down the hill.
Yeah, we had a coach called Krista Skog, a Swedish coach once, who was always saying, when you get to the top of the hill, just imagine that the top is 15, 20 metres beyond it and work flat out to that stage. Then you give yourself the speed into the downhill section. So sensible, and Northug is the Grand Master. Snow plough, they're really killing the speed entering this one, but it's a tough one. Both men making sure that is the hardest corner on the course today, and now they have to think about tactics. How are they going to approach the last stage? Sundby, surely after yesterday's race, will not want to lead over the bridge into the stadium for the final time, because he was there to be shot at yesterday, and both Roning, of course, and Villigjanin came through to beat him across the line. The margins weren't great, but it's the positions that count.
So close, the chasing pair of Norwegians, but they're not going to close that for sure.
And if they'd gone really hard on the first or the second lap, they wouldn't have survived through to this stage. They've done everything they could. They've clawed back roughly 35 seconds on Petter Northug today, but it is not enough. Northug is on his way to victory, and he's now switched into Sunday stroll mode over the final climb. He'll brake to his right, one more turn to the right, and then he's into the last 200 metres of the season. A very subtle glance over the shoulder from Northug just to make sure that he doesn't miss a trick behind him. The sprint is on for second place. Sumbi on the right of your screen, on the outside, finds that that's the slow way round. Through comes Kroc, looking for the win here.
Sundby, I thought he might try and take the inside earlier, but no, it almost seems that Sundby has accepted that he's going to be third. Northug needs to be careful.
He'll know exactly what he's doing. He might even stop just before the line, but he's such a hugely popular figure. He finishes in modest style this year. Kroc wins the sprint for second place. Sundby in third. Norway 1, 2 and 3. They had 3 in the top 4 yesterday. They go one better today, just as they did in the women's, and you won't be surprised to hear that Norway have thrashed everyone in the Nations Cup standings. Norway, Russia, Sweden, Finland, Germany, the top 5 nations this year.
And look how spent they are. These victories do not come easy. They never have done, they never will.
Well, we've got a little bit of racing still to go. The top 4 positions may be decided, the top 3 are decided. What about 4th place? We've got Legkoff in the red bib. This is all about the race for second place in the World Cup. If Legkoff in red gets it, then he finishes second. If Colonia in the black gets it, he moves up into second. Only 7 points between these two men going into the last race of the season, and it's Russia with the advantage at the moment. Legkoff looks strong, but Colonia is well poised to make the challenge into the last 100 metres, and Colonia goes on the outside. Legkoff trying to up the tempo and hold strong for the moment. 15 metres to go. It's still Legkoff leading, and Dario Colonia starting to tie up, and Legkoff gets the win. A fantastic sprint finish from him to secure second place in the overall and push last year's champion down into third place.
Well, we didn't have a front shot there, and I was wondering if Legkoff was trying to push last year's world champion a little bit to the side. I'm not sure, but hey, well done to Legkoff. He's not a renowned finisher, and I think that just shows how tired Colonia is.
I think you also have to bear in mind that Legkoff today started in 16th position, and he started a full 27 seconds down on Dario Colonia, so you cannot take that second place in the overall World Cup away from him. A fantastic run